I'd like to call the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. It's August 5th, 2013. It is now 8:31. The first order of business is public forum, limited to 3 minutes regarding any agenda item. Anybody wishing to address the board? Seeing none, we'll move on. Item 2, approval of the minutes for July 15th, 2013. Do I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Is there any additions or corrections? Everybody okay?
Yep.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
You all
Aye.
All right, okay. All right. Unanimous, thank you. Item 3, Parks and Recreation Senior Center, Rick Maynard, Terry Holland Buckley. 3.1, discuss and take possible action to waive the bidding for a purchase of a minivan for Guilford Senior Transportation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Who's going to lead off?
I guess I'll start off material, fill in all the blanks. Through the budget process, we were approved to purchase a van back during the budget process. We got $20,000 in the budget for that. And Terry and some of our bus drivers did some research, and there are some used vans that are available that are, we think, a reasonable price. If we go new, it would cost us about $8,000 to $9,000 more if we go with a used one. I don't think we need to go through the justification of the van. I think it's already been approved, but if you want, I can touch on that. But basically, it's for transportation for the senior citizens. It doesn't make sense sometimes to drive to North Guilford or, long distances for one passenger with a 20-passenger bus. So we want to have this van, which is going to replace the 1997 van for senior transportation that was donated to us maybe 8 years ago. And so that is, is deemed by the Public Works Department. It's really not something we should be using a lot for passengers anymore. So this van will replace that. So what we're asking for is, because it's a used van, and I think we've had some conversations about this, is that how do you go to bid for a used vehicle? And there's one that they like that they'd like to purchase as soon as possible that's available. If it's something we have to go out to bid on, I mean, somebody could put a bid on it today and it's gone. So
What's the difference in price? Like if the used van, well, you have to tell us about.
Hopefully you got a letter. The one we're most interested in is the 2012 Chrysler. It would be $23,520, and a new one we got a quote for $29,399. So $9,000.
And then will the additional come from the program funds?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, the budget is not 20,000, Rick, it's 30,000.
Correct, yeah.
All right, 20,000 from operating,
Yes,
and 10 from one of your special funds.
Right.
Okay, so you're well within budget.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. The Chrysler.
How many miles on the 97 that will you be turning it in, or are you going to keep it?
I think we'd like to keep it because it's just got a little turn-in value. Our recreation staff could use it still for transporting things to camp and the beaches and so on. I don't know offhand how many miles, but I don't know. Do you know, Terry? I don't know if the mileage is. We could get that information.
I think it's 100.
Yeah, I was going to say,
at least 100.
Was that it was quite a few miles.
Yeah, I think it's over 100. Yeah.
And it's old. It's a 1997.
Yeah.
And it's really not easy. The design of it isn't as easy as this one would be, as far as getting people in and out. When you're looking at seniors, like this one, the middle seat flips. So if we have to put somebody in the back, it's easy for them to get in and out. It's got a carrying cargo in the back that is very deep. So if we have to put walkers or a wheelchair, which we do often, it would really make that much better.
I think that makes sense.
And it's been, should be mentioned, it's been checked out by Public Works, our mechanic staff. And
yes, Public Works
they had no
has
problem
checked
on it.
They thought it was a good vehicle.
No rust.
Good condition. Yep.
Okay, great.
I'll move we waive the bidding for the purchase of the minivan as requested for the Guilford seniors.
Second.
Okay, just for, and then we need to approve this purchase, which would be, do it separate, $23,520 plus the additional $1,519 for the
Radio.
For technical communications for the radio. Okay. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Okay, all those in favor of the motion? Aye. Unanimous. Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Item 4, Deputy Police Chief Jeff Hutchinson. I see the chief, you want to come up here too? Or?
I'll let him do it. He's
Okay. 4.1, consider and take possible action to award RFP 1-1314 Digital HD in-car recording system. Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing?
Morning, Chief.
So, as you all know, in the budget process last year, we were requested and approved replacement of our in-car video systems, which is basically the dash cams on our patrol cars. They're way outdated and falling apart, basically. So, as a matter in the process of replacing those, we put out to bid and received one that was accepted through purchasing that complied with the bid requirements. It's actually, thankfully, what we were looking for. So what we're doing now is we're requesting to go ahead and accept the bid from WatchGuard Systems. The Board of Police Commissioners reviewed that at their last meeting and is recommending that we go with that company as well. Satisfies everything we're looking for. We're coming in a little bit under budget. We budgeted $66,680, and if we go with this, we're coming in at $65,970. So we're pretty close to where we expected we would be. So that would replace 10 cameras and all the backroom systems to operate.
I'm sorry, 10 cameras in the patrol cars?
Correct, yeah.
As well as the jail cells, or?
No, it's separate from it's an entirely separate system. That's a.
So this is just for the patrol cars?
Just for the patrol cars, right. And then it also, it's a server, it's storage unit, it's installation, and first-year warranty on it, so.
So only 1-year warranty?
Correct, yeah. Moving forward, they quoted warranty prices in there, and rather than burden you, I could have provided you with this packet, but I didn't think the copy costs would, I know it would keep Mr. Howard in business, but we didn't want to
It's a
make
conflict,
too
you
many,
know.
yeah, it is. So that's why we didn't do it. Didn't want to put them in a difficult position. But they've quoted warranty prices for 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, 4 years, and they said they'll hold that price. So moving forward, you'll probably see us budget for potentially warranties out for 2, 3, 4 years on it. It makes more sense to warranty it than to buy new cameras.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because when they're working on our cameras, they give us a replacement in the meantime too. So we don't need to have spares on hand.
How long will these cameras last? I mean, what is the typical life?
The ones we have now, some of them are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. But it's like anything. You know, one might last 1 year, one might last 9 years.
Yeah.
Until they come out with another
Until they
regulation.
but quite
or-
honestly,
almost more
the system
technology than equipment failure.
Yeah, the system we've had has been in place a long time, and now it requires recording to a DVD, pulling out the DVD, storing the DVD, and then when we want to review a tape, we have to make a copy of that, review it on a computer system. The new system, as soon as the car pulls into our carport, it has a wireless access point, so everything downloads automatically when the car pulls in, and everything's stored on the server. So, for example, if you had an incident where 3 vehicles responded, you can review those from your desktop right away, and you can review all 3 cameras all at once. So, where before you'd have to watch a DVD and then pull that out and then watch another DVD, this gives all 3. It logs in the dates, the times, and the incidents for when things happen. So
But only after it's downloaded, you don't have the ability to watch it live?
we're moving forward. That might be possible, but that's not in this package right here. Yeah, so
It's
that is
worth-
something that we've considered.
Sir,
yeah.
all right, it's worth mentioning that you are getting a $5,000 trade-in credit on the present
Correct, for the
equipment.
cameras that we have right now.
So that would bring the price down to the $65,970.
Right.
Is that clear? Okay.
Sounds like fairly sophisticated technology. I mean, has it existed in other departments? And
There are other departments using this system. Saybrook bought this recently.
It's been up and running for a while.
Yeah, and they're
bugs are
real
worked
happy
out.
with it. And this WatchGuard is the largest provider of dash cameras in the
How many
country.
units was it?
10.
10.
So we've got all that clarified about the 14.
Correct, yeah.
I just want to, worth mentioning, Selectman McKelney and I had a little back and forth with emails this weekend, and he had seen a letter, in full disclosure, that was sent to me, and I gave it to Pam for another bidder who wanted to extend the bid period, 10 more business days. That's out of the realm of our instructions and bid specs, and we can't do that sort of thing. So that's why that bidder was, did not bid.
In the bid documents itself, the deadline up for, requests, questions. We get that kind of question frequently, and most of the answer is no. But this came after that deadline.
Yeah.
The request came after the
Okay.
Request
After
came
the
even
deadline.
after the
Yeah.
request.
So it's that
So,
certain events, the
you know,
whole-
you all got a copy of that letter
No,
back in
exactly.
July. So Gary just happened to pull it out, and I wrote him back and said, we just can't do that. It'll
Could invalidate the whole bidding process.
the whole credibility of the billing process would be compromised. So we got to keep that. So I mentioned that because Selectman McKellarney's not here. Okay, I told him I would.
Was it because of their own issues, or there wasn't anything that we did as far as?
No,
it was their own. They just
you
want
have a
more
copy
time.
of the letter, and you'll see they just
Yeah.
wanted 10 more business days.
They just wanted more
And
time.
we get that, Pam said, from time to
I just want to
time.
make sure it wasn't a trip on our end, that's all.
No,
No.
it's a device, let's leave it that way, that vendors tend to use.
Where is WatchGuard out of? Where are they
Texas.
from? Texas?
Yeah, they have local reps around the country. As I said, they're the biggest provider of dash cams in the country at this point, I believe, so,
So they have local reps here?
yes.
And how about installation? When will
Soon as it's processed, they would be on
they
board
be
to
able
start
to?
installing,
So
yeah.
it's not like you have to wait a period of
No,
time to get them?
No, we've worked with them before. Our system right now is a WatchGuard system. It's just the older version, and that's why we're able to get a trade-in on the cameras.
Okay, is there any further discussion? We have a motion, please?
I move that we award RFP 1-1314 Digital HD in-car recording system to WatchGuard out of Texas in the amount of $65,970.
Second.
Any further discussion on the motion now? All right, seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, unanimous. Thank you, Deputy, thank you, Chief. Item 5, Fire Chief / Communications Director, Fire Marshal, what else can I call you? Charles Hershaft, good morning, Chief. 5.1, discuss and take possible action to purchase a Chevy Tahoe using state contract number 10 PSX 0239. Morning.
Good morning. The Assistant Chief did quite a bit of research on these two vehicles since he's the one driving it. We looked at a Ford Expedition and we looked at a Chevy Tahoe. The Chevy Tahoe meets basically all the requirements of an emergency vehicle, where the Ford does not. Like the spotlight has to be added on by us, it's supplied by the factory. The emergency wiring is done by the factory with the Tahoe, wasn't even offered with the Ford Expedition, etc. So basically, we're recommending that we buy the Chevy Tahoe off a state contract for $32,852.30. Our capital outlay budget is $30,000 for the vehicle. We would have to wire the car in-house, and it would cost us a little bit more than $2,000 to do that. So it was advised to do it, plus we get the factory warranty on the wiring. I did that when I purchased my car. So that's my recommendation to the board.
Where are we buying it from, Chief?
It's from a dealership up in Northwest Hills dealership in Torrington, Connecticut. They're the ones that hold the state contract.
So they have it, you know that they have it in stock?
Well, it's not in stock, it has to be ordered.
Yeah.
Right, but it's available. off the state
What's the
contract.
lead time on that?
I think it was 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I move that we purchase a Chevy Tahoe as recommended by the chief from Northwest, is that the name of it? Northwest
Northwest Hills.
Hills in the amount of $32,852.30 from using state contract, holy moly, 10 PSX 0239.
Second.
Okay.
And that is a 2014, right?
2014,
Yeah.
brand new.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
I'm sorry.
ahead.
Will we trade in what we have, or are we keeping
No,
that?
no, I'm gonna roll it over to the deputy fire marshal.
Yeah. Okay.
Any further discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. All right, Chief, we have another item here for you.
Yes.
Discuss emergency notification system for the town, which we've been working on some time, and we're almost there.
Right, this is basically, one of the problems we're having with our current, not a problem, but you don't have the ability to communicate directly with the public using our present Everbridge system. There is a package out there, however, that allows us to do unlimited general messaging to the public. So basically, if the fireworks were canceled or updates, updates for storm events, which is what I think the more intent of the board is, we can do that without any limitations at all. This particular enhancement to our present system will allow us to do it from text messaging, emails, MSS messaging, SMS messaging, any messaging you can think of. I'm not quite sure if it does Twitter, but it does all the brand new social medias. Basically what would happen is the citizens would have a direct link to Everbridge. They would be told to go in there, add their stuff, just like they do with the state. It would be our own system, it would be our own portal into the computer system. I just learned that new word. And they're going to type it in, and basically we'll have that information for them, and have a geo-based, just like we do now with the current Everbridge system that we use for emergency purposes only. The difference is that's owned by the state, and we're only allowed to do emergency messages on this. This one will be owned by the town, and we can do anything we want with it. So
This is a problem we encountered in the last couple of incidents, or I don't want to use the word, but I will, storms, that one of the frustrations I had, and I think most of us agree, is the up-to-date information that we want to get out to the public. It's just, we didn't have a vehicle to do that. Asked the chief to look into it. We now will have it very shortly. What's nice about this is that you can get it on any device, whether it be your, my iPhone's in there, I can show you, iPhone, BlackBerry, PC, laptop,
So smartphones
iPad,
in general.
any mobile device, or even a landline too, if you need to, okay? Which is what we were lacking. Now, the good part about this is that it can be used for, as the chief mentioned, emergency and non-emergency situations, such as when we postpone the fireworks for one day. I mean, people might say, well, that's ridiculous. It's not, we don't need information on that. Yeah, we do, because a lot of residents, a lot of families planned on being there Saturday night and had to change their plans. And if we didn't get the word out, they would show up Saturday night and have look at a black sky and get a little bit aggravated at us. So this is going to affect in a couple of weeks, and it can be, messages can be sent out from our homes, our EOC, the town hall, or wherever. We have a group of individuals that will be trained on it. We don't have to rely on the communications department to do that. They're going to be able to concentrate on what they do best, and we'll be able to get out the information from here. So I'm very excited about this, and I hope you all are, and I think it's a great tool. The cost is really not that expensive, but this only works if people sign up.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, I've asked Brian McClone, our economic development coordinator, to put together a little PR campaign where we will get the word out. Chief Terravile, who, since he was here earlier, has graciously volunteered the new police command vehicle to be stationed at the Guilford Fair as a point of having people sign up. There'll be a lot of visibility there, but we're still going to run this campaign to get people signed up. And it only works if you signed up, so
Yeah.
keep tuned.
Now, Joe, how does this differ from what we had before? Wasn't there something else?
Before you have a reverse 911,
Yes,
and like the
that's
chief
right.
said, you can only use that in an emergency situation. Now, that's not to say we're not going to use the reverse 911.
We have two.
So this can be like an informational thing.
Right,
It's
this is
not like an
strictly for
emergency.
general, right, just general
But you could
information.
still, okay.
Right.
Right,
So basically, the folks would sort of go about signing up similarly, and then.
Right.
yep,
Okay.
okay.
We're trying to see if we can import some of the information, but
Yeah.
that's kind of, up to the state to see if they'll allow us to do that, because some of the
Okay.
information, because of the 911 laws, they're not allowed, if like unpublished numbers, they're not allowed to transfer that information to us.
Right.
But this system it is?
No, they can't
No,
do
they
this. The
can't.
public have to come down and do this.
You have to
themselves.
sign up.
Right. If they want an unpublished number that we can use every day, they have to
give
come
it
in
to
and
you.
sign on their, on the program.
Okay.
All right.
This
so-
has been very successful in North Haven. I had a few discussions with First Selectman Frieda there, and they use this to communicate with their residents. As a matter of fact, some of them
Does
who
Madison?
work, pardon me?
Does Madison use it?
Not that I'm aware of, who actually work in Town Hall, and kind of introduced me to that notification system last incident we had, and I said we have to look into this, so.
It's gonna be purchased off a state contract.
Yep.
I think you got the same contract number.
Okay.
What is the fee?
The startup fee is $7,938. The annual fee is $5,292.
I think it'll be money well spent. Let's hope we don't have to use it for emergencies, okay?
Well, that's what's good about it, though. It's not for just emergencies at this point in time. I mean, there are all sorts of things, you know, the beach, oil spills, road closures.
Yeah.
This is just more instantaneous communication.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Assistant Town Engineer Mark Damiani, 6.1, consider and take possible action authorizing for a selectman to sign agreement with Hawks Engineering for Long Hill Road project. Mark, good morning. How are
Good
you?
morning, how are you?
Pinch hitting for our town engineer.
Yeah, as you know, that the town has received a grant to rebuild Long Hill Road from Route 1 to Hubbard Road. And in January, the Board of Selectmen had approved the design engineer, Hacks. And since then, the town and the design engineer, Hacks, they have negotiated a fee for the project. And what is before you is the agreement as a result of that for your approval. This agreement has been reviewed and approved by the Connecticut Department of Transportation. The maximum design fee for this project is $522,800, and it's 80% reimbursable, 80% federal and 10% state.
Okay.
That's what's before you.
So you need us to, so I'll move that we authorize First Selectman to sign the agreement with Hacks Engineering for the Long Hill project.
Is there a second to the motion on the floor?
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Nope?
No?
Wait a minute,
Sorry,
sorry.
go ahead.
The agreement, is this part of the master's service agreement that we were talking about with DOT at our last meeting?
I'm not
Dan?
quite familiar with that. I don't think it,
I do not believe so.
No.
yeah.
So it's a separate.
It's a separate
And I-
agreement.
Yeah, and I ran the insurance provisions of this with our
The,
insurance
the
agent.
master agreement is with the state of Connecticut, DOT.
Okay, this is
Oh,
federal.
yes, that, I
This
know,
is
right.
with Hacks.
That's
The-
correct.
The ven,
Yeah.
the contractor. That's,
Okay.
that's the difference.
That's
yeah.
it.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
Absolutely.
Any further questions on the motion? Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
See, they were easy, huh? Right. Item 7, Guilford Preservation Alliance, received presentation regarding and placement of an informational kiosk on community center property.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, we
And
got an easel too.
Could I finish reading this?
Oh, sorry.
And refer project to the Historic District Commission and Planning and Zoning for proper approval. Good morning.
Okay, thank you so much. I'm Shirley Girioni, co-president of the GPA and co-chair of the Heritage Tourism Initiative. My co-chair unfortunately had a raccoon attack his chickens, and so he's trying to resolve the problem. He hopefully will show up, but I don't know. So in the meantime, I'm here, and Russell Campaign, our architect, is here.
Now, he didn't have a run-in with the raccoon, did he?
No, the raccoon.
Okay.
You don't want to go into the gory details. Not a good way to start your day. Thank you so much for giving us the time this morning. We gave you a report to present the Guilford Preservation Alliance plans for a visitor information kiosk, which is a key component of the Heritage Tourism Initiative, HTI, whose intent is to foster economic growth for our town merchants, as well as an increased visitation to and utilization of our town's historic house museums and its wealth of cultural and natural resources. It is GPA's desire to provide this kiosk to the town as its 375th anniversary gift. GPA's Board of Directors began the HTI in 2011 after recognizing that Guilford's wealth of historic, cultural, natural resources, as well as shopping, dining, and cultural events, could be focused to generate an economic impact through increased visitation while continuing to preserve irreplaceable resources. Working under the professional guidance of Mrs. Carolyn Brackett, Senior Heritage Tourism Staff for the National Trust for Historic Preservation, GPA commenced on a multi-year planning process to guide Guilford in developing a heritage tourism component for its local economy. Starting with a community-wide workshop led by Ms. Brackett in October 2011, 26 different local nonprofit organizations such as the Arts Alliance, the Arts Center, the Chamber of Commerce, the Green Merchants, the 5 house museums, town planner, the town economic developer, the state director of museums, as well as the state economic development office and tourism. I can't think of anything else right now.
Shirley, how
The land trust.
I think this is a great idea. What businesses will be included? What won't? How's that going to work out? Is it just the ones that are on the green, or is it throughout town?
Anybody.
So anybody can
yeah.
be included. Is there going to be a charge for them to be included?
Not right now.
Okay.
We have to develop those policies along with,
Yeah.
in conjunction with our economic developer. et
And is
cetera.
there a picture of what it's going to look like?
Yes, we're going to show that
Okay.
to you.
All right.
So, she did 3 community workshops, a 3-day assessment, a site assessment visit, creation of a recommendation report. This is listing, oh, here's Rob Vavasor.
Good morning.
Okay. And that was the first document produced. Okay. And then the second document was the Heritage Tourism Strategic Plan. It's a 5-year plan for implementing this process. In the course of supporting the development of the strategic development plan, the GPA has dispersed $24,000 of its own funds to date. It has received generous financial support as well from the Guilford Foundation in furtherance of the HTI's historic Guilford walking tours, which is the first program to be designed and implemented in this process to introduce heritage tourism to Guilford. GPA was recently awarded a grant from Connecticut Humanities and an additional matching fund grant from the Guilford Foundation, which, when added to various in-kind services and contributions, amounts to $28,000, raised to date for the planning of the visitors' information kiosk on town land adjacent to the community
And
center.
how much is the actual kiosk?
75 to 100,000. Here, this is your part.
And who's paying for the kiosk?
Yeah.
Shirley, who's paying for the kiosk? How's that?
We're GPA will
GPA.
raise the money.
Okay, so you're working on raising. Okay.
We'll have first thing we'll do is apply again, if this planning grant is successful, we'll apply again to the Connecticut Humanities for a $50,000 grant.
Okay.
And of course, there'll have to be matching
Yeah.
funds for that. And then whatever is left, we'll be responsible for raising.
Okay.
Apologize for being late.
That's okay.
We had a raccoon in our chicken coop.
We heard that.
I told them.
There's usually a fox in the hen house, isn't it?
The creation of a visitor's information kiosk was identified in the strategic development plan as a key component in creating a successful heritage tourism program in Guilford. Such a kiosk will provide a critical focal point and meeting place for the dissemination of heritage tourism-related information to town residents and visitors to Guilford alike. Existing tours such as historic Guilford walking tours could launch from the location, tickets could be bought and sold from the site, and helpful information, directions, maps, and other tourism materials and brochures could be distributed. Our goal is to staff the kiosk between May and September for 5 days a week with a combination of volunteer seniors, high school students, and members of the general public who will be trained by GPA. The actual structure is conceived as modular in nature with both an open window for in-person staffing and a computer touchscreen to provide heritage tourism information at all hours, so that it will function as a clearinghouse for useful information even during hours when it is not being staffed by our volunteers. GPA estimates that actual construction costs for the kiosk will be between $75,000 and $100,000. The computer component of the kiosk will offer links to the Chamber of Commerce, Guilford Green merchants and restaurants, stores, and arts organizations, while GPA will provide historical information based on 3 public workshops to be led by Dr. Nancy Morgan and Mr. Jeff Dawson, experts in historic place finding and interpretive signage, respectively. Both of those individuals, by the way, and those hearings are part of our Connecticut Humanities Grant requirements. So that's under their direction and the grant that we propose to them that will be providing those hearings that'll give us input to how to build the kiosk and what it should say to the public. To date, our proposal for siting the kiosk on town land adjacent to the community center on Park and Rec property has met with unanimous approval from the Park and Rec Commission, as well as unanimous preliminary approval from the Historic District Commission. We hope that the Board of Selectmen will provide its support to our proposal for building GPA's planned visitors information kiosk adjacent to the community center as well.
So how did you decide where to put it?
That was,
Because I'm gonna throw out a thought, I know it's gonna be a ripple, but.
It's been a long process.
It's been a long process.
Before we get to that, I think it would be incumbent upon me to read into the record a memo from the Park and Rec Commission by way of their director, Rick Maynard. This is dated July 19th. I think you all have a copy of this, all right? As you are aware, the Park and Recreation Commission approved the concept of the tourism kiosk on the south corner of the community center property, which you have just mentioned. We understand that the Guilford Preservation Alliance will have responsibility for the first 2 years and intends to turn it over to the town after that. At the meeting on July 8th, the Park and Recreation Commission voted to make it clear that it is not in favor of taking any responsibility or any level to man, run, and or maintain the tourism kiosk. If you have any questions, more information, please contact Ralph Schapani, who, by the way, is the chairman of the Park and Rec Commission, or me being Rick Maynard. So I just wanted to read that in the record. Do you have any comment on what they said?
No, we don't.
Okay.
Did you need to read the preliminary recommendation from the Historic District Commission?
I don't have that. We haven't gotten that, so.
Okay. I have it. Do
Okay.
you want to read that?
If you'd like,
Is it important?
you have the floor, so go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, you want
Well,
to
they
paraphrase
support-
it, or
they
what?
support
All
the
I'm saying
project.
is that
Yeah.
they're supporting
Okay,
it.
okay.
So
that's
back to the location. I mean, I'm gonna throw, I know this
Well,
is gonna
we
create a
tried
ripple.
various and sundry locations.
It would be, see, and I know this is gonna create, it would be, the best thing would be on the green somewhere, right? Did
We
you
don't
guys
go
talk
there.
to?
We went there.
You sure you want to mention that?
Yes, I do,
We
because.
went there and it was denied.
It was denied, the green
Yes.
committee, you mean?
Yes.
At various locations, may I add, right?
Yes.
They looked at
Like
it,
basically nowhere.
Right. They don't want anything
Yeah.
on
Any
the
structure on the green. Yeah.
Right.
And actually.
I'm just thinking about where people are gonna access it, that's
the
all, and I'm
most-
sure you guys are
that was
thinking
the-
about
the-
that.
That was a very key element to put it there on the green, but it just, we knew it wasn't gonna work, but we gave
Yeah.
it the try because the town staff recommended it. We had tried to put it on the corner of
I was
Boston
gonna
Street.
say, yeah,
Bump out that corner. And
Right.
the staff said absolutely not, and they asked us to go to the Green Committee, which we did. And the Green Committee at first thought it was okay, but when they went back to all their 5 organizations that they
Oh.
represent, it was no.
yeah. There's no place down on, like in front of the merchants or no?
In
just
fairness-
We tried
the
that too.
sidewalks?
In
We
fairness
tried.
to the Green Committee, there
I'm not
have.
putting down-
No. There were merchants who disagreed with putting it on the green too, so.
There was one merchant,
Yeah.
yes, who wrote a letter saying no.
So
Yeah.
where, so if I can understand, where in the parks, like where,
I'll do that.
oh, all right,
Yeah.
all right, you're gonna, I know, I'm getting, I'm all
Russell
excited.
Campaign,
I think this is
our-
great, so I was like,
Architect.
I think this is wonderful. I'm really excited about this project,
All right,
really.
so on
Thank
the
you.
Park and Rec site, there's an area basically on the south side of the current community center. Yep, okay,
Am I in your way?
sure.
Bring it up forward.
Okay,
Again, okay? There you go.
Tell me where to sit, Mike.
So basically, as you pull into the community
this
center,
all right?
there's a green strip sort of on the, next to Percon Church that is actually sort of underutilized right now. It's occasionally used for parking when it's over when there's no parking found in the area
is
there.
the
But I
area?
think that
Next to Perk on Church.
So next to Perk on Church. So here's a
As you
site
walk
plan.
in.
So this is the community center here, the main entrance coming here and coming down through the ramp here. We're looking to occupy this corner, which has ample room for us to get. It's a very small structure that we're looking to put on, but we are looking to turn it into a little bit of a sort of a gathering space of some sort. So we're creating a 30 by 30 sort of paved area with a couple of benches for people to sit and meet, and then some bike racks in behind, with the kiosk sitting basically in line with the existing community center. And with an entrance off of this side, but also a curb cut for accessible entrance off of the parking on this side. Now, our main peak hours, one of the questions was, as far as overlap with the parking, our main peak hours would be on weekends during the day. And so we think actually the overlap works quite well, given that the community center is underutilized during that time as far as the parking. To look at the actual shaping of it, we sort of looked at different type of architectural themes and such, and fell on actually sort of a train station look that seemed to work really well as a ticket booth or something along those lines for people to meet. So basically, from the Church Street side, you'd be facing a window here, and then a very large overhang roof that we have currently as a metal roof to sort of pick up on the metal roof of the Perkon Church building next door. And then the siding is somewhat reminiscent of the community center, kind of fitting in between, but simple and sort of low-key in the way that it's set up. And in plan, so there's a door on the south side that's sort of hidden that allows access for an accessible turning radius that we need to have for the people manning the kiosk, given that we're looking to just have anyone that will volunteer be able to come in and use that. And then there's a closed area actually on the north side of it, which would be facing the community center, and as you approach it from the parking lot, that would house the computer equipment for the touchscreen. And being on the north side, that's a glare, it solves our glare issues and other things along those lines. And then basically there's some posting boards that we have. The display touchscreen is here with a little heating system that's got to keep it during the winter months so that it can be active. And then, as I said, the door that would enter from the south side and kind of be tucked in. So, material-wise, we have a metal roof. We have all synthetic materials on the outside with AZEK and cement board sidings and such, so it'll be very low maintenance. And as Shirley said, the idea would be it would be built off-site modular and then dropped onto the site, so that it would be not, basically there would be construction of the grade activity as far as getting the plaza done and setting of the benches, but it would come in very quickly and sort of be up and running. And also worth mentioning, lighting-wise, we have an existing overhead light for the parking lot here, so we have power on this side. We probably would cycle the power as far as the lighting of the kiosk itself. Hidden in the large overhang will be downlights, so they're dark skies, and they would probably be on the same sequence as the parking lot lighting, so everything would kind of be in conjunction with the way that the parking lot.
So it wouldn't be disruptive to the residents in the area?
No, it'd be the same. Well, it's dark sky, so it's a full cutoff fixture, and which I think the parking lot fixtures are as well, but they would be on the same cycle. So I'm not sure if they go off at 10 or 11. I'm not sure where 11. They are. They go off at 11. So it'd be on that same cycle, and just sort of make a nice glow here, and it will be something that we think, if anyone's Googling to come to Guilford, they'll come down 77 on the maps. Yeah. We'll have signage, sort of same as a train station. We're thinking, we'll come up with the exact signage, but the idea would be, information kiosk or something along those lines. So the signage would be on the building, and there's actually some existing historic state signage that directs to the Whitfield Museum and some other things right in front of this that we might modify in order to just sort of give clarity that this might be the sort of launch point for that.
Is that a touchscreen on the outside of the building or the inside?
It's the way that these work it uses a laser to sort of scan. You don't actually touch the screen. It actually is just a regular monitor, and then behind a plexiglass, a sort of a vandal-proof glass, it senses where you're touching and puts it inside.
Is it on the outside of the building or the inside of the building?
It's on the inside of the building.
It's on the
inside,
inside.
like
And then there's
a
a glass. There's a plexiglass screen, and then the screen is behind it.
So the person viewing it would be inside the building?
No, outside. No, it's outside.
Okay.
It's outside.
So turn the thing around.
Okay.
And just show me the wall where the touchscreen is.
Right here.
Which is facing the parking lot, facing the rec center,
Yes.
and it's outside.
Yes.
And these new screens or whatever, I mean, we've had digital screen issues in this town already.
Yes.
And here we're talking about putting it, all these people coming straight to the green are going to be driving, seeing a screen, is that going to automatically go off after not being used?
Yes, I
for
think it
a
would
period?
go into a sleep mode, and we could make a choice as to whatever it was, that probably would just have a line at the bottom, touch here to start active, you know,
So it's
interface.
not gonna be on there, a digital display like the neighbors complained at the other locations?
Only when in use, right?
Only when in use, and that's fully at our,
And I'm sure
big
it's
is
not
that?
programmed to
Big
go into
though,
sleep
so-
and when it's not in use, you can
Yes.
shut it.
How
it's-
big is that screen?
It's not gonna-
We're showing a fairly large screen. I think we have to get to the detail as to what the content is.
You're talking like a
Approximately.
So
computer
we're showing
screen.
it at 24 by
Yeah.
36.
Yeah.
24,
So
so
it's
it's a
a
sign
monitor.
of, it's the size of a A-frame sign.
Probably
Yes.
about the size of your
Yes,
board.
right here, 24 by 36 is exactly this, yeah. And the idea would be, I think the content would drive that to some extent, given that it's not a touchscreen, that basically the monitor isn't driving cost. That's a very inexpensive purchase, the
Don't
size.
worry about cost, don't worry about a
But it's-
digital screen being on at some period of time when we don't really want it to be on,
Sure.
or whatever, or
Sure.
being blocked. I mean, just,
But
you
I
know,
don't
I
think
know
that's
it's
gonna-
already been an issue in other parts of town, so I just don't wanna be having, you know, I'll
One
let
of
the
the,
historic district.
But I
and
don't
rec
think that's
department.
gonna be facing the houses, is what they're saying, it's
It'll
facing
be
the side,
facing
you
the
wouldn't be
people
able
in
to
the
see it.
street, or it's probably driving towards the green,
Yeah.
it's gonna
One
see
of the
it.
consultants
visible.
coming in September, Jeff Dawson, who designed computers for the 9/11 memorial, he's going to meet with Russ and go over the details like that.
Well, I'm sure the historic district will be looking at it. I mean, it's one of those things that we're gonna have to, it's an evolution, I'm sure,
Right.
but,
Right.
I mean, everybody's going that direction with the convenience of touch screens, but a glaring 24 by.
No, we'll
we
make
have to
sure
do
it goes to.
No, I think our
sleep
interest
mode.
would be obviously to have it, I mean, we're not looking to cycle advertisement or anything,
Well,
as we
we're
say.
on questions.
It's-
Another- You said you're gonna have a 30 by 30 foot asphalt or concrete pad.
Yes.
Concrete.
Is the kiosk on that
Yes,
pad?
yeah, it's centered on.
So that's a total impervious area that we're adding to the parking lot?
Yes.
And that fits within the park and
No.
rec site
We have to
plan
get a
and everything?
No, there is, basically, the community center is over the lot coverage allowed on the site, and so there would be a variance of 125 feet or something along those lines that would be necessary.
Good.
The other thing that sort of came out, which is sort of questionable, we probably would seek a front setback variance as well. It appears that the community center was never properly positioned on the site, and so we're lining it up, because that seems to make sense, but we would just for our own, you know, making sure we're
And
dotting
this
everything,
will have
crossing everything, we'd seek a variance. for the front
walkway
setback.
access from both the parking lot and the sidewalks?
So we make a new curb cut here, so they have accessible curb cut access here, and then there's an existing, we'd make a pathway off of the existing sidewalk that's in the front. And we're thinking that it would be concrete, everything else around the community center, the theme-wise.
What is the
concrete.
actual size of the kiosk on the 30 by 30 pad?
It's 6 by 12 is the actual physical, and then there's the overhanging roof, which is a 3'6" overhang.
6 foot wide by 12 feet long. That's-
Yeah, it's fairly small, I mean. you
Was
know,
it
roughly the
another
size of this
earlier
table.
plan considerably bigger?
No, no, it's always been this, to get
How
a
big
turning.
is the roof then?
The roof is an extra 7
feet.
feet beyond that, so it's, you know, 14 by, I'm sorry, it's 3'6" in every direction to make that overhang, so you can stand underneath and the drip line is beyond you, so you're, you know, sort of not, you're under cover if it's raining with that overhanging roof. So it's roughly 18, 19 feet by.
Now, the Park and Rec letter spoke to maintenance, and you know, I'm sure you're using a lot of fairly maintenance-free materials, but anything requires maintenance. Who is going to be responsible 10, 15 years from now for this building?
Well, we're hoping to turn it over to the town after a few years.
So this
Yes,
is
it is
going to
town
be a
property.
town piece of real estate at some point in time?
Yes.
Are we up to speed with that part of it, Pam?
Well, you're gonna refer it to 824, I think,
Yeah.
to P and Z,
Yep.
which is putting a building on town property.
Right.
That's for the public, so.
So that's
you
a
have that
whole,
on your
that's a
agenda
whole
today.
future part of this. You know,
Yes.
we're literally talking about effectively a town building at some point in time, which, you know, maintenance, liability, everything.
Well, we're not that, we haven't.
No, we're not.
Well, there would
No,
be
but
liability,
that's-
Charlie, there would be liability
When we get
anyway,
there, we'll have to do it.
because it's on town property,
I
so
would
let's
think
put the
that
liability aside.
when
Just
the,
want everybody to be aware of it, that's
when
all.
the GPA is ready to turn it over to the town in a few years from now, then another board perhaps would have to accept it
Yeah,
with certain conditions.
which would make sense.
Yeah.
Okay,
Potentially the economic
and I
development
understand
does.
that that will be a future part of the process, but now is the time to make sure all the Ts are crossed and Is are dotted, you know, handicap acceptable, town standards, you know, legal standards. This is the time to make sure that that stuff gets done. It's a lot easier right now.
Right. And we've been very attentive to that. I mean,
Okay.
we're wanting to meet all of that as well as, you know, keeping it at very low maintenance as far as the way that the system is set up. We'll keep it very low energy use. It's going to be all LED lights. The small heating system.
I know,
is
but
required.
yeah, and I understand that. It's just that, you know, 5 or 10 years from now, this is going to be hopefully one of the first things people go to after Googling or whatever, and that means, you know, landscaping, everything. It's just something that should be kept up to
Yep.
the best standards that Guilford can, because it might be a fairly initial visit for visitors.
Right.
And it's a gateway to the town.
That's my point. yeah.
Was that going to be separately metered?
We can
Yes.
definitely sub-meter it off of the main building. I think it would be easier
reading.
to sub-meter it off of, if we, the big question is whether there is underground access for us to bring a new line over there or not, you know, or
But
we're
there's a
bringing a
light
new.
pole right
There's a
there.
pole on the other side, so we can get a separate meter and have it, or it could
Okay.
be sub-metered off of the community center, depending on what's gonna be most convenient as far as the construction.
Great.
I think, you know, two things. The first thing is that many years ago, maybe back in 2005, Joe, if you remember, we had talked about doing something about the signs on the green, you know, the
That's right.
easels and stuff.
Yep.
And this space is actually the same space that we had originally talked about putting some of those A-frame signs up. So this makes, obviously, is a much better improvement to the suggestion that was made years ago about a gateway into Guilford and getting information to visitors. And then to dovetail into that, as far as representing the 375th Committee, this fits perfectly into the mission that our committee had, and that is to drive our heritage, to bring people in, to improve the economic development of the town. I mean, this is a perfect example, and I think it's a great idea. I think we should go forward.
I remember Chamber of Commerce back when I was involved in that. I mean, it had to be, again, 15 years ago, we were talking about a kiosk, you know, different places, so this
People
is
look
great.
for it. It's a natural
do.
expectation. People look for something.
But what I like also is that being a newer person in town, I always said it's hard to find one place for things like, you know, where are all the parks in town? Like, how do you know? I mean, obviously the economic piece is good, but even just a central place, and Brian, you and I have talked about this, like, how do I get information about everything? And you have to go to all different places to get it. So I think this is an opportunity to bring it all together. So I'll move that we refer the project to Historic District Commission and Planning and Zoning for proper approvals.
I'll second.
Okay,
There is
one
a-
question I have is, what is your timing on this?
Next spring, we hope to
Okay, so
construct.
it'd
Wait a minute, let me
be-
take that back.
Okay, yeah.
We have the deadline for submitting the, all the details for this initial planning grant is January. And then after that, we can submit for the $50,000 construction grant. So maybe it wouldn't be till a year from the fall.
Okay, so it would still be in the 375th year.
It would be yes.
Okay, which is ideal,
Yes.
right?
Right.
Okay, good.
I even have another potential plus, pulling some of the signs off the head.
No, no. We don't want to junk it up.
You were doing so
I
good.
actually like those signs on the green.
I do too. I think it's part of the small
I
town
think
thing.
it
but
shows activity and
sometime-
vibrancy of the town,
Yes.
you know?
I
don't know why
agree,
people
but-
get in-
Absolutely, but there's a but. I mean, there are
no
times you
buts.
go down there and you've got signs, you know,
It makes
9
it
of
look
them across
country,
the
You can't read them
You
all.
can't read them, and they get knocked down.
And some of them are a few weeks old.
Yeah.
I do have,
Small town.
I do have to commend the Green Committee. They have taken the responsibility of
Yes.
policing
Yeah.
the signage and making sure when the period that they're allowed to have the sign is passed, that those signs are gone. So again, I thank them.
Right.
Any further discussion on the motion? Okay, can I call for a vote? All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous.
so
Thank you very
much.
much. Good luck.
Thank you
Thank
for your
you.
hard work.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
This is good.
Okay, item 8, appointments and resignations. Act on a resignation received from Ned Crydell from the Land Acquisition Commission. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
That's too bad.
With regret.
regrets.
Yeah.
All those in favor?
Aye.
8.2, act on a recommendation to appoint Josh Hirschman to the Planning and Zoning to fill a vacancy for a term to expire February 28, 2015.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Act on a recommendation to appoint Mark Wasserman to the Economic Development Commission to fill a vacancy for a term to expire November 30th, 2013.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, we have number 9, one request for the use of town property, request from the Orchard House Medical Adult Care Center to place a sign on the green advertising its fundraising event, September 9, 2013. Sign placement 8/19 to 9/9. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Correspondence? Anybody have correspondence?
No, you mentioned them, so that I've had.
That's all I've had at the moment. I did get a thank you note from one of the Trails members for the fine work Public Works did in removing that tree that fell across the East River and the East River Preserve, so now they can traverse the East River, and they're all very happy about that. And kudos to our Public Works Department for a job well done. Committee reports. Do you have any, Veronica?
The only thing I would like to say is that the 375th Committee thanks the First Selectman's Office for helping us fulfill our 5 diamond sponsorships for the 375th. So that's a big move forward to us. So I just wanted to publicly
Great.
thank your office and my vice chairman.
Don't forget Brian.
I did, my vice
Okay.
chairman for Brian McGlone for his efforts, as well as those on the committee for helping us get that goal met.
Great, thank you. Any old business? I have none. Okay. New business? Anyone? Public forum, limited to 3 minutes regarding any issue. Seeing none. Move on to item 15. Consider and take possible action on a request from an employee to carry over unused vacation days due to extenuating circumstances, and an executive session will be required. I need a motion to go into an executive session inviting the Human Resources Director. We will come back for a vote, Mike, once we do this. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there-
Second?
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you all. I'd like to entertain a motion to come out of executive session.
So moved?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. We have another motion on the
I'd
table?
like to move that we grant the employee's request to use unused vacation days due to extenuating circumstances
Second?
Any discussion on the motion?
and using them per the policy that we have in place.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, okay. Entertain a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.